This still is Good Morning Kenya, and we are glad you are still with us. But for those of you who have to leave the comfort of the home, you can always take us with you. Just stream us live or via our Facebook, not Facebook page, our website, that is www.kbc.co.ke/KBC-live, and you'll be able to catch us live from wherever it is that you will be going, from your phone, your tablet, your laptop if you have. You can always take us with you. Facebook page, KBC Channel 1 TV, Twitter, hashtag Good Morning Kenya at KBC Television, and also tag me on those tweets, comments, or any message that you may have in regards to this discussion. My handle is Genuine Boy across all social media platforms. So right now we are on to the second segment for the day, and this is all about women and women who are doing something to bring change in our society, just breaking that glass ceiling, reaching for that which we had been termed as not reachable, and just trying to help another young girl while at it. And today it is no different. We have with us a lady who is at the forefront, championing against FGM, against gender-based violence, and of course advocating for menstrual health management and hygiene. This is none other than Lucy Waisiko, who is a gender activist. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
We're glad you're with us this morning.
Karibu.
Now, I'm sure uko social media.
Yeah, I am.
Just look into that camera, tuambie watu wanaweza kupata aje Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, ndio wakitaka kukuongelesha personally wanaweza kutumia ka message.
Naweza patikana kwa social media, Facebook, naitwa Lucy Waisiko. I have a page, it's called Me for High Empowerment. I have another one, it's called Amazing Pads. You can get me through Twitter. Okay. And also on Instagram. Yeah. All
right. So you can use those handles to just reach to her. You feel, as I always say, you feel you cannot share with us on a national level, you can always send them to our guests on a more personal level. Now, we just want to understand your journey in this fighting for, against FGM, against gender-based violence, and also just advocating for better health, menstrual hygiene for our girls. So we just want to understand why it started and when it started. Ninini, what happened? Is it an incident that you were in that led you to starting this journey?
Yeah, it's something that I went through when I was young. I was raped. I was defiled at the age of 9 years old. So it really traumatized me. And then I kept with it. I didn't tell anyone because the perpetrator had warned me. If I ever told someone, he would have killed me. So I didn't tell anyone, and this thing was really eating me. So last year, I decided to go public. I said enough is enough. I wanted the public to know what I was going through. So I remember I posted on Facebook. And when I posted, the first comment was not good. Because even in my early age, I didn't go through FGM. And there was that stigma and discrimination. So when I talked about all these things, I remember there's someone who told me, there was a comment, do you know what? You are abnormal in between your legs. That comment, I almost deactivated my account.
And this is someone you didn't know?
I didn't know that
Just somebody
person.
Random on Facebook?
Yeah, because my posts are public, so anyone can comment. Yeah, so I really wanted to talk about it. I wanted to go back to the community and talk about this issue, about rape and FGM. And when I went back home, I remember there is
Where is home?
Korea,
okay.
In Korea.
Okay.
I remember there's a school I visited, and then I donated sanitary towels. Then from there, I started getting messages from the teachers and the people around there telling me to go to more schools because they experienced that lack of sanitary towels, and the girls were not going to school during their
menses.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's quickly just talk about. Let's start with FGM. Maybe given that you've mentioned Korea, and we all know that Korea is one of the areas that are heavily affected when it comes to FGM. Maybe you could tell us a bit about the status as of now, because you interact with people on ground more. The status of FGM back home.
The status as per now, we have 4 clans in Korea. And this year, one clan is going to perform the FGM. And as we understand, the state there is not good. So we are trying to see what we can do and rescue the girls. Because we know not all of them want to go through
the cut.
Yeah. There are some who are forced by their parents. There are those who have pressure from their peers and even the people who surround them. Yeah.
So awareness levels is still a big challenge, because, you know, if some know it is wrong but they still go on to do it, that means they don't know the consequences of, you know, taking their girls to this cut. So do you think there is enough awareness among the clans who actually continue to practice this?
There is, but there is something, I can say there is ignorance. Yeah, we've talked to them. There are so many activists on the ground. They shall talk to them, but now these people, we shall talk to them, but at the end of the day, there are those who still insist they are going to cut their girls. Yeah, because they say it's their culture.
Yeah, so culture is also another problem. It's also contributing to the growth of this menace.
Yeah, it is because there are those who say they cannot abandon their culture. And you know, it's very hard to fight a social norm. Yeah.
So what more do you feel even the relevant authorities need to do to just help bring down this vice? Because I believe there are some girls who don't want to go through this cut, but they're being forced to go through it. And these days I also hear we have a medicalized FGM.
What we need to do, all stakeholders should come together. We can't do this alone. All people who are there, they're supposed to come together. We collaborate and create awareness. Yeah. We can do this through open dialogue. Because you see, if you are trying to force these people, then they do it as a way of punishing the government, and also they see it as the punishing the activists. Yeah.
And what about this, because also these days I hear about cross-border FGM practice. Tell us a bit about what you know about that. Or what you have encountered with.
In Korea, we have Koreans who are in the other country. Tanzania, we have Koreans in Tanzania. So even them, they do perform FGM. And when there is that, like the government doesn't want the girls to go through the cut, they will cross over and then they go there. The girls will get cut and they come back.
And they come back after having gone through the cut?
Yeah, even the same day.
Wow. It's so sad that some parents actually go through such extents to make sure that the girls actually get this cut. And just about a week ago, we did see the president speak, you know, very adamantly against FGM. It is a practice that needs to end, because so many girls get to pay the consequences much later in life. You know, it is not the parent who's going to pay the consequence. It is the girl who has been forced to go through that cut that is going to pay the consequence. So at least we can see our president at the forefront championing against this vice, and we all need to come together to just try and make sure that our girls are not forced into this practice that is very retrogressive, and it is a cultural, very retrogressive. I echo that word. It is a very retrogressive practice that needs to be put to an end. Now, let's quickly just move along and talk about gender-based violence. Now, you have just told us your story, but just looking at the situations that encourage this gender-based violence to keep going, tell us a bit about your encounter with that.
Okay, there's so many. First, you have to understand what gender-based violence is and the root causes of it, and the forms of gender-based violence, other types. There are so many. It's not only beating your partner. There are others. Even rape is gender-based violence. FGM is in there. There is also that psychological and emotional torture. Yes. It's also in the
constitutes of that.
Yeah. So what I understand, there are so many people who are going through GBV and they keep quiet. They don't talk about it. There are those who are going through it in marriage, but because of fear, they can't talk about it. Yeah. Some, like ladies, fear to walk out of their marriages because maybe they are not
Children,
employed.
yeah.
They fear what the society is going to talk about them, and others, they stay because of their kids.
So those are some of the forms of, gender-based violence that we have tolerated and we are keeping, quiet about. So maybe you could tell us a bit about what you are doing to just fight against gender-based violence and what more even the rest of the people need to do to come on board and help fight gender-based violence, and not just against women. When you talk about gender-based violence, I think we need to be very clear. When you talk about issues to do with gender, it is not about women. It is about both men and women. So gender-based violence can be against a man or can be against a woman based on the gender. It's not about the person per se, it's about the gender. So maybe tell us a bit about what you're doing to just try and bring down these issues to do with gender-based violence, even when cases involving our children.
What I'm doing, I'm using social media as a tool to reach to people, to reach to those victims. I'm very vocal on social media, so I decided to use it to talk about it. I shall post on FB. I encourage those who are going through GBV. If you are in a toxic relationship or marriage, instead of maybe being killed, you can walk out. It's not the end. You can walk out and just start afresh. Yeah. And then another thing, there are those who come even in my inbox, there are those who call me, we talk. I usually talk to ladies, even men. I should talk to them, yeah, and talk about what gender-based is and what the effects are. Yeah.
Okay, now let's just quickly talk about menstrual hygiene, because as is, about 65% of girls still don't have access to sanitary towels, and this is still a very sad situation because this is a natural phenomenon. It is a biological requirement of the body. You cannot do anything to control it, but it still is a problem with the access to sanitary towels. Maybe you had mentioned that you went back home and you visited a school and you got to see the situation on ground, girls missing school. Maybe you could paint for us a picture of how it is, the fact that actually some girls get to miss school because they don't have access to sanitary towels. How bad is the situation, at least from what you have seen?
The situation there in some schools, it's not good. There are those even who go to school without innerwears, leave alone their pads. When I started going to schools, initially I wanted to talk about FGM, but I realized that the number of girls in those schools was not good. I inquired, I was told that girls miss school because of their periods. And that's when I decided to start giving out sanitary towels. What I shall do, I shall buy with my money. There are those friends who help me. They chip in, they donate, and then I take to those girls. Whenever I'm talking to them, I shall ask them to rate the challenges they're facing. And one of the challenges is the lack of sanitary towels. Yeah, in most of the schools that I've visited.
All right, and even some of the schools that you have visited, yes, some might have, there's some girls who have access to these sanitary towels, but there's still so many other challenges that are involved when you talk about menstrual hygiene management. And let's just talk about, a place to actually, a safe place to go and actually change these sanitary towels. Do these schools have, safe changing areas or washrooms that these girls can use to just change their towels, the sanitary towels?
They have the toilets, the female toilets. That's where they go and change their pads. Yeah. But again, there are myths that are associated, and even the stigma associated with the menstruation. Yeah, the girls are not even open to talk about these things because they're afraid. Maybe they have not been taught. They have not been told that it's normal to bleed as a girl. Now we felt that a girl will soil her her clothes, and then maybe the boys will laugh at her, and that makes her to have low self-esteem.
Yeah. And what about, still another challenge is the fact that so many young girls, the fact that they do not have money to buy these pads, they have to resort to other alternatives to be able to get money to get access to pads. And that also boils down to puberty education. Do you feel like, from what you have seen, are parents talking to their children about these changes that come along with puberty, or these children are being left to just figure out things on their own?
Not all parents talk to these girls. Hawaongeleshi, huwa maybe wanaongeleshwa shule, lakini huko nyumbani hawaongeleshwi. It's rare, hawaongeleshwi kabisa. Sababu ukiwauliza wanakwambia mzazi hajawahi waongelesha. Yeah. So you find that it's very difficult that those even you start talking about this topic and they shy off. They don't want even to discuss about it. Another challenge is now, you see, they don't have money to buy sanitary towels. They can't even tell their parents. What they do now, they end up engaging in sex to get money. They will have boyfriends, and then these boyfriends maybe give them money, then they buy the pads.
Now, what more do you feel the government needs to do? There was a program that was launched in the fact that they had to make sure that all schools have free sanitary towels for young girls. But what more you do feel needs to be done to ensure that our girls don't have to resort to such measures? You don't have to get involved in sex to be able to get something as basic as a sanitary towel. What more do you feel the government needs to do?
The government should give out sanitary towels. Instead of the girls buying them, they should be given sanitary towels. Yeah, they shall say that they give out to schools, but the schools I've gone to have not even seen those sanitary towels. And to maybe a few of them, they say that the sanitary towels are of poor quality. Yeah. They leak. That those girls who have heavy menses, heavy menses. So these pads cannot help them. Yeah. So
yes, keep going.
I think the government should give enough sanitary towels to every school. Yeah.
And quality sanitary towels for that matter. And also when it comes to the parents and actually talking to their young girls about these changes that come with puberty, because they are parents, they have gone through it, so they know better. What more do parents need to do to just ensure that they actually have these conversations with their children and their daughters to just make sure that they don't walk through this journey by themselves?
They should start talking to their girls as early as even 9 years old. They be free with their daughters. There's nothing to hide. They tell them the truth. They tell them what is going to happen to their bodies. And by doing so, these girls will be aware. And another thing, the parents should also buy for their girls pads. They should not wait for maybe asubiri mtoto wake akuje amwambie nimeanza hivi ndio amnunulie. It should be in their budget every month to buy for their girls.
All right. So maybe tell us some of the projects that you are working on. I'm sure there's some projects you're working on. You have set up accounts so guys can be able to donate financial assistance or come and actually give physical pads that will go towards assisting these girls. Tell us a bit about those projects.
Right now, there is a project I'm doing. I've started making reusable pads because I believe reusable pads are sustainable and affordable. If I give a girl the reusable pads, they're going to use them for 3 years. Instead of giving them disposable and then they use a month and the rest of the month they don't have. So that's what I'm working on. Another thing we are doing, we are collaborating with the other NGOs back home. We want to rescue girls because the FGM is starting next week for the girls.
It's the season.
Yeah, next week. Immediately the KCSA is over, they are going to start. So we are trying to come up with a place so that we are going to rescue these girls. All we need support, maybe in terms of food, uh, food, pads also, and other things like toothbrush, toothpaste, soaps, so that we can keep these girls in this rescue center, because we want them to stay up to January. If we release them early, they're going to cross over to Tanzania and then they get caught. Yeah, that's what we are doing right now with the other activists. Yeah.
And even the local authorities, what can they do to just help with this process, especially during this season?
What they can do is they make sure that people around their area, like the chiefs, should not allow them to subject their girls to FGM. Yeah.
All right. Now, for these girls, you know, once they come to the rescue center, it will be only for a while, but they'll have to go back home, and maybe to the same parents who are forcing them to go through this cut. Maybe what measures do you think should be put in place, or rather, what measures are you hoping to put in place just to ensure that these girls, once they are reintegrated back to the community with their families, they won't have to suffer the consequences of running away from this practice?
When they will be in their camp, we are hoping to talk to their parents. Yeah, we talk to them, we make them be aware of the effects of FGM, and they accept their girls once they are back in their homes. Yeah, because we cannot keep them there for long. What we are going to do there is just keep them there, and then we mentor them, we empower them. There will be mentors, there will be those who will even be teaching them.
All right. And also another challenge for girls who have actually gone through the cut is the fact that most of them, you know, think that, you know, after you have undergone the cut, you're now a woman. And so many of them begin engaging in unsafe sex and unprotected sexual practices, and they get pregnant. So many get young children at a very young age. Maybe for those who have gone through the cut, whether they willingly or unwillingly, but are looking to just be guided after that. What would you say to that, and maybe what are you hoping to do to also assist the girls who have gone through the cut and they're, you know, not sure how to go about these waters because they now think, you know, culturally it means you're now a grown woman, you're a full woman?
If those girls who have undergone the FGM, I call them survivors, it doesn't mean that now they have become women to start engaging in sex or they get married. They should still go on with the education, and then after that the rest will follow. Yeah.
All right, so if guys just want to be part of these projects and help assist in getting pads to our young girls, how can they do that, at least for the benefit of our viewers? How can they get in touch with you? How can they make sure that if somebody has an actual pad, they want to get it to you? How can that be made possible?
They can get me through my social media handle.
Just remind us those handles once more.
On Facebook, my account is Lucy Waisiko. I have a page, it's called Me for High Empowerment, yeah, and another one, it's called Amazing Pads. Now they can get me through those. Even my email is lucymwinde874@gmail.com. Yeah, they can get me through those.
All right.
Yeah.
So if you feel you just want to be part of this and help, you know, get a girl, keep her in school, assist in whatever way you feel when it comes to the fight against FGM, and even if you feel you can protect a young girl who might be going through this cut, it is the season, as we have just heard. As soon as the exams the Kenya Certificate for Secondary Education exams are done, it is the season, and for most of these girls, some don't have a place to go as they try to run away from this practice. So if you feel you are able to assist these girls, remember the president is one of the people who are championing against this practice, and you can also come on board and support these girls. Some don't want to go through this, but they have no alternative. So if you are able to provide an alternative, please do so. Do follow her on social media, get to know how you can get in touch with her and how you can assist in the process. Let us come together, fight against FGM. Some of these girls do not deserve to go through this. No girl actually deserves to go through this, but some are forced to go through it. So let us help protect a young girl. Let us help bring down gender-based violence and also keep a girl in school by just making sure they don't have to miss school because of menses. Thank you so much, Lucy, for being with us this morning. Tumeshukuru sana. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a fantastic job and we celebrate you for that.
Thank you.
Any last remarks to our viewers when it comes to this fight joining you? Last remarks?
the last remarks I will say is let's break the silence. Do not keep quiet when maybe you are abused. Break the silence and speak out. Thank you.
All right, break the silence and speak out, and it will only start with you. We have been speaking with Lucy Waisiko, who is a gender activist, very passionate when it comes to fighting FGM, gender-based violence, and ensuring menstrual hygiene management is no longer a problem for our young girls. Keep doing what you're doing. We celebrate you.
Asante.
All right, so that is that for our Women at the Forefront segment. Remember, more is coming up in a bit, so do keep it here to catch up with that and so much more. In the meantime, our communication platforms still remain open. On Twitter, the hashtag is Good Morning Kenya. Official station handle ever remains at KBC Television. Our individual handles at Ramaguko, at Dorina Range, at Remanyara. My handle is at Jane Wambui across all social media platforms. And our SMS number on the top left of your screen, just in case you forget, 20154. And our Facebook page, KBC Channel 1 TV. Do stay with us. We'll be right back after this break.